Top 100 Hidden Photos You Won't Find in History Books. In 1954, a photographer captured some of the greatest scientific minds together: Albert Einstein, Hideki Yukawa, John Wheeler, and Homi J. Bhabha. In the Soviet Union, from the 1950s to the 1970s, it was common for little ones to nap in the fresh air, soaking up the sunlight. By morning, parents would bring them back inside, ready to start the day. In 1911, 4-year-old Mary shucked 2 pots of oysters a day in Dunbar, Louisiana. Her mother, the fastest shucker in the area, earned $1.50 a day, often working with a sick baby in her arms. This photo highlights the harsh realities of child labor in the early 20th century. In 1957, a man takes a selfie using a wooden stick to trigger the camera, marking the early days of self-portraiture before smartphones and selfie sticks. During the 1942 Battle of Singapore, this photo shows Japanese soldiers using blindfolded Sikh prisoners for target practice, highlighting the brutal treatment of POWs. Lepa Radic, a member of the Yugoslav partisans resisting Nazi occupation, is pictured being evacuated in 1943, symbolizing defiance and resistance. This photo captures a donkey serving in the military, highlighting the important roles animals have played in wartime efforts. After the liberation of Bergen-Belsen in 1945, 500 children survived. This photo captures some of these young survivors, marking a poignant moment in history. In 1902, Santa Claus visited Chicago, captured in a photo showing a version of Santa that wasn't as plump as today's image, marking the evolution of his iconic look. This photo shows men waiting in line for soup at a kitchen run by notorious gangster Al Capone in Chicago during the Great Depression, highlighting his unexpected charitable side. On April 3, 1945, an American soldier in Siegen, Germany, was photographed wearing the Holy Roman Empire's crown, which had been seized by the Nazis in Austria in 1938. In 1918, a young newsboy stands in front of a downtown Seattle theater, which closed after Mayor Ole Hansen's public gathering ban during the Spanish flu pandemic. In October 1937, Oswald Mosley, leader of the British Union of Fascists, was hit in the head by 2 stones thrown by the crowd after he gave a fascist salute to 8,000 people during a speech. On September 30, 1955, James Dean died in a car crash in Cholame, California, while driving his Porsche 550 Spyder. This photo shows the wreckage of the car. In 1944, this photo shows a dog completing a parachute jump during training, highlighting the unique role animals played in wartime operations. In Morgantown, West Virginia, in October 1908, a young boy learns the trade from his boss, who started at the same age and has worked for 30 years, highlighting child labor in the early 20th century. This photo from June 1936 shows August Friedrich Landmesser, a lone man refusing to perform the Nazi salute. His act of defiance led to his arrest and eventual internment in a concentration camp. Geronimo, the famed Apache leader, is shown with fellow prisoners after his surrender in 1886, a powerful reminder of Native American resistance. In 1957, photographer Inge Morath captured a llama strolling through New York City for a Life magazine assignment. In 1920, Miss Agnes O'Loughlin is pictured catching waves with her dog, capturing a rare moment of women and pets enjoying the surf during a time when surfing was far less common for women. A stunning colorized photo from the early 1950s captures Brigitte Bardot in front of the Eiffel Tower, showcasing the timeless beauty that would later define her career and influence on fashion and film. In 1945, a lone American soldier is pictured inside a European church surrounded by priceless art and architecture, offering a moment of reflection amidst the chaos of World War II. Before heading to the front in September 1939, English soldiers posed for a farewell photo, their smiles masking the grim reality they would soon face in the early stages of World War II. On May 27, 1972, comedian George Carlin was arrested in Wisconsin for violating obscenity laws after performing his famous routine, 7 words you can never say on television. In 1916, young Germans could volunteer for military training. This photo shows one such man wearing his father's uniform, embodying the patriotic spirit of the era. On May 27, 1942, Reinhard Heydrich, a key architect of the Holocaust, was assassinated in Prague by Josef Gabčík and Jan Kubiš. This photo captures the aftermath of this significant act of resistance against the Nazis. On April 3, 1950, a robber attempting to snatch a woman's handbag was disabled by a shot of colored dye from a new, non-lethal weapon in Germany. This photo marks the early development of such weapons. This photo, taken on March 18, 1871, shows a barricade at the Rue West-Froy and Rue de Charonne during the Paris Commune, a socialist uprising against the French government. In 1928, Soviet peasants, enduring harsh living and working conditions, listened to the radio for the first time, showcasing the stark contrast in access to technology and information during the early Soviet era. In 1952, Josephine Cobb uncovered this rare photo in the National Archives, which is the only known image of Abraham Lincoln at the Gettysburg Address. This 1919 photo shows members of the American Anti-Suffrage Union who opposed women's right to vote just a year before the 19th Amendment was passed. This photo captures Elizabeth Eckford, one of the Little Rock Nine, as she faces resistance while attempting to integrate into Little Rock's all-white Central High School in 1957, a key moment in the civil rights movement. This photo, taken around 1942, shows a young Princess Elizabeth, years before she ascended the throne, offering a glimpse of her youth before becoming Queen Elizabeth II. A courageous tunnel rat is pictured preparing to enter a Viet Cong tunnel during the 1960s, carrying out the perilous task of locating and defusing mines in the underground network. Captured before their tragic execution in 1918, the four Grand Duchesses, Olga, Tatiana, Maria, and Anastasia, are seen together in this photo, representing the last generation of Russian imperial royalty. In the late 19th century, Okoso Watari, a 17-year-old hairdresser in Paris, made a statement with his bold style. Pictured in traditional Japanese attire, complete with a large sword, this photo exemplifies the cultural blend of the time. This photo shows thousands of wedding rings taken by the Nazis from Holocaust victims around 1945. During the 1999 Kargil War, Indian soldiers buried the bodies of unknown soldiers, which India claimed were Pakistani. This photo reflects the grim reality of war, where even in death, disputes continue. On December 25, 1940, families celebrated Christmas in a London bomb shelter, finding hope and unity amid the terror of World War II. In 1945, an American soldier kisses his girlfriend in Hyde Park, London, unaware if they would ever reunite. This photo captures the bittersweet hope and uncertainty of wartime love. This photo captures an anti-fascist militia fighter during the Spanish Civil War in 1936, as General Francisco Franco's forces began their uprising against the democratically elected government. This photo shows the construction of the Statue of Liberty in the late 1800s, a gift from France to the U.S. to celebrate the centennial of the American Declaration of Independence. This photo shows Judge Roy Bean, a colorful Wild West character, presiding over court in his saloon in the 1800s, a symbol of frontier justice. A 1910 photo of Michael, a young newsboy, selling newspapers in a rainstorm just days after recovering from pneumonia, highlighting the resilience and hardship of children during this era. Queen Elizabeth II is captured laughing with President Ronald Reagan during a speech, showcasing the lighter moments between the two leaders. This photo captures Tsar Nicholas II of Russia and King George V of England, two royal cousins and close friends, providing a rare look into the personal bonds between two of Europe's most powerful figures. This haunting image from April 16, 1945, shows the horrific conditions at Buchenwald concentration camp, revealing the suffering of those imprisoned there during the final days of World War II. This 1865 photograph of Frederick Douglass, one of the most prominent abolitionists in American history, captures his dignified presence and unwavering commitment to the fight for freedom and equality. In 1931, mobsters who had no fear of violence hid their faces from the camera during Al Capone's trial. In 1938, children stand in front of the world's largest log cabin, built in 1905 for Portland's Lewis and Clark Centennial Exposition. The cabin stood until it burned down in 1964. In 1948, with Soviet troops surrounding West Berlin, American planes brought much-needed food to the city. This photo captures the gratitude of residents as the planes arrived during the blockade, which ended on May 12, 1949. In 1945, as the war ended, Nazis tried to evacuate concentration camps. This photo shows Jewish prisoners liberated from a death train, marking their escape from captivity. This photo shows a 27-year-old Robin Williams, just weeks after Mork and Mindy aired, on his way to Studio 54 in New York in 1978 to celebrate his newfound fame. This poignant photograph captures the funeral procession of President Abraham Lincoln as it moved through New York City on April 25, 1865, following his assassination. The solemn event marked the nation's mourning for its fallen leader. In 1944, there were only 247 black nurses in the U.S. Army Nurse Corps. This photo highlights the challenges they faced in a segregated military, underscoring the fight for equality. This powerful photograph by Matthew Brady captures a wounded soldier during the American Civil War, offering a stark portrayal of the brutal realities of combat. During World War I, soldiers and their mule are seen wearing gas masks, highlighting the severe impact of chemical warfare, including mustard and chlorine gases. Captured by Felicia Beato in the late 1860s, this photograph shows a group of Japanese officers providing insight into daily life and military attire during the Meiji era. In 1934, acrobats Charlie Smith, Jewel Waddick, and Jimmy Kerrigan performed a daring act atop the Empire State Building, twisting their bodies into a human statue high above New York City. Betty White, known as the First Lady of Television, is pictured in her early years, embarking on an iconic career that would span over 80 years and make her a beloved figure in entertainment history. In 1950, amidst the Korean War, Bob Hope's entertaining show brought some much-needed relief to soldiers stationed in Seoul. This joyful moment of soldiers laughing captures the power of humor, even in the darkest times. At age 100, in 1864, William Hutchings, one of the oldest surviving veterans of the American Revolutionary War, was photographed as a testament to the resilience and sacrifice of the men who fought for America's independence. During World War I, a Serbian soldier rests with his father, who visited him at the front near Belgrade. Serbia lost 27% of its population between 1914 and 1918, both in battle and due to massacres. In 1946, Albert Einstein defied the racial climate of the time by visiting Lincoln University in Pennsylvania, the first degree-granting black college in the U.S., to teach a class. In October 1960, John F. Kennedy and his wife, Jacqueline, campaigned in New York. This photo was taken just before his election as president on November 8, 1960. In 1965, during a coordinated attack by North Vietnamese and Viet Cong forces, this photo captures a U.S. soldier running past a burning house in Saigon amidst the chaos of the Vietnam War. In 1975, a MiG-21 from the East German Armed Forces crashed into an apartment block in Cottbus, killing the pilot and 5 others. This photo shows boys at the Forest Grove Indian Training School in the late 1800s, where Native American children were forced to assimilate and learn trades like blacksmithing. Three athletes are pictured training for the first modern Olympics in Athens, Greece, in 1896. This event marked a new era for international sports competition. In 1918, a man known as the Human Squirrel scaled a skyscraper in New York City to raise money for war relief, demonstrating the lengths some went to for a good cause. Marion Lovell listens to a broadcast about the dangers her husband, astronaut James A. Lovell, faced aboard the Apollo 13 mission, capturing a personal moment during a historic space mission. In April 1945, Soviet slave laborers were rescued from a cellar after being locked inside and set on fire by German forces, highlighting the horrors of war and the resilience of those liberated. This image of Albert Einstein, taken in the 1930s, shows him casually dressed in Levi's and a Menlo Cossack jacket, embodying the unassuming nature of the genius who would go on to become a global icon. Captured in 1940 amidst the rubble of the Battle of Britain, this poignant photo shows a young girl clutching her stuffed animal, embodying the destruction and suffering experienced by civilians during World War II. Captured in 1960 during his presidential campaign, this photo shows John F. Kennedy engaging with rural voters in West Virginia, highlighting his commitment to understanding and addressing their struggles. Captured in 1941, this image highlights a family farm worker in the midst of harvesting beans. It's a reminder of how much farm life depended on everyone working together to bring in the crop during the era. This 1913 photo captures Franklin D. Roosevelt, long before he became president, serving as Assistant Secretary of the Navy. His early leadership would pave the way for his future role in steering the nation through difficult times. In 1945, U.S. Army nurses sunbathed next to a 40mm anti-aircraft gun aboard a Coast Guard troop transport heading back to the States. On August 9, 1945, minutes after the Fat Man atomic bomb detonated over Nagasaki, this photo captures the devastating aftermath of the 21-kiloton explosion. This photo from 1873 shows the Prince of Naples, later King Victor Emmanuel III of Italy, holding a picture of his grandfather, Victor Emmanuel II. His reign would be marked by political instability and violence. This 1861 photo shows a Catholic priest holding Mass for Irish Union soldiers in a makeshift tent during the Civil War. This photo captures the historic moment when Helen Keller met President Dwight Eisenhower, a powerful moment of mutual respect and inspiration. Jay Bodner, a young boy, watches televised images of the moon's surface from Ranger 9, moments before it crashed into a crater, encapsulating the excitement of the space race. Betty Page, the iconic 1950s pinup model, is seen at the beach, capturing the essence of her era-defining beauty and bold persona. This school photo from 1898 captures Eleanor Roosevelt at age 14. Even at this young age, she was already on the path to social service, volunteering to teach impoverished immigrant children in New York. In 1959, Cuban revolutionary leader Fidel Castro visited New York City, making a splash as a political figure. This photo captures him during his memorable visit, just as his influence began to grow globally. In 1914, 3-year-old José Morel Grenstein from Toronto was photographed in a regulation service uniform as part of the war effort, symbolizing how even the youngest generations contributed to the cause. In 1941, after capturing Athens, German troops raised the Nazi flag above the Acropolis to mark their victory. This photo, taken on May 4, 1916, shows a French biplane during an aerial survey of the Paris camp. In 1945, as World War II neared its end, the Germans attempted to evacuate prisoners from concentration camps. This photo captures the moment concentration camp survivors were liberated, marking a pivotal moment in history. A 1908 photo of a child laborer looking out of a factory window, highlighting the grim reality of child labor during the early 20th century. On June 5, 1944, during the D-Day landings, Allied forces stormed the beaches of Normandy, with this photo marking a pivotal moment in the liberation of Western Europe from Nazi occupation. On November 30, 1939, during the Winter War, Soviet bombers targeted Helsinki. This photo shows Finnish civilians seeking shelter as air raid sirens blare, offering a powerful visual of the war's impact on everyday life. In 1924, baseball legend Babe Ruth, even while serving in the National Guard, was often found on the baseball field. This photo captures him during his military service, still synonymous with America's favorite pastime. During World War II, Japanese Americans were forced into internment camps. This photo shows women waiting to be relocated, illustrating the impact of wartime prejudice. Gama Ghulam Muhammad Bakhsh, known as the Great Gama, was a legendary wrestler from British India and the undefeated world champion in 1910. This 1945 photo captures a futuristic fashion style, reflecting the era's fascination with what the future might look like. The lion in this photo, named Jackie, is the famous MGM lion, whose roar was featured at the beginning of The Wizard of Oz. Salvador Dali, the eccentric surrealist artist, is photographed working on the storyboard for the film Destino in 1945. His collaboration with Walt Disney was shelved for decades, but remains a testament to his creative genius. This photo of the Titanic's stern was taken by photographer Thomas Barker on April 11, 1912, during the ship's brief stop in Queenstown, Ireland. I hope you enjoyed this look at these iconic and powerful historical moments. If I missed any significant photos or moments, let me know in the comments. Don't forget to explore the other videos in this series for more incredible stories. If you found this